Hey guys, welcome back to another unfiltered, behind the scenes, this is how it really goes episode of CarPodChats, where we talk about the real stuff that moves metal and keeps the lights on. I'm your host, Dan Malavé, a lifetime student of this beautiful mess we call the car business. And today's episode, man, this one's spicy. We're talking about the desking dance, when to push and when to hold. That awkward back and forth choreography between the sales floor, the tower, and the customer that either makes a deal or makes a disaster. This ain't ballroom dancing. This is more like trying to tango with one shoe, 2 drinks in, and a customer who's asking, is that the final number? Now, if you ever walked a first pencil out that made you blush, gotten the trade number and prayed the customer didn't storm out, or been stuck in that weirdo limbo where both sides are close but nobody's committing, then you've been deep in the desking dance. Let me set the stage with a quick story. This one time, I walked back to the desk with a hot buyer, strong credit, low miles on the trade, they're in love with the car. I'm like, this one's a layup. I hand over the worksheet and the manager, who must have been trying to hit his tower bonus with one swing, pencils $4,000 down, $690 payment on a base model Accord. I said, boss, are you trying to close this or test my acting skills? He goes, hey, you're the closer, right? I'm like, yeah, but even De Niro couldn't sell this script. So I take the deal out, customer looks at it and just quietly folds it back up. Doesn't say a word, just folds it like origami sorrow and slides it back to me. That's when I knew we need to talk about this. We need to talk about when to push and when to hold, with the desk, with the customer, with ourselves, because the art of desking is less about pricing and more about posture, less about what the number says, more about how you walk it out. All right, you ready to dance? Let's go. So what exactly is the desking dance? It's that beautiful, frustrating routine we perform every day, moving back and forth between the customer, the sales manager, the GSM, and the almighty desk, all while trying to keep the rhythm of the deal alive. It's not smooth, it's not sexy, it's not even really choreographed. It's like speed dating with bad Wi-Fi. Everybody's talking, but nobody's really hearing each other. 1 minute you're high-fiving because the customer says, let's look at the numbers, and the next minute you're walking out with a quote that looks like a ransom note. You ever had a desk pencil a Civic like it was a Tesla plate? Yeah, that's when you start dancing. You become the messenger, the translator, the hype man, the therapist, all at once. Let's break down the cast of this show. You, the salesperson, the frontline warrior, the heartbeat of the deal, the customer, emotional, skeptical, possibly preloaded with TikTok finance advice, the desk, logical, numbers driven, allergic to low gross, and then there's F&I, waiting in the wings like, y'all done yet? This is the stage we dance on. Now here's the thing about the dance. Everybody thinks they're the lead. The salesperson wants to protect the relationship. The desk wants to protect the gross. The customer wants to protect their ego and wallet, and the GM wants it done with CSI through the roof and no heat. You ever walk into the tower and say, hey, they're at $400 a month, and the manager says, cool, let's go out at $565, see where it lands. And you're like, you mean see how fast it dies? Here's the first rule of the desking dance. If you bring bad energy to the desk, you'll get a bad pencil in return. Don't storm in like a 3-year-old who dropped his ice cream cone. Don't throw your customer under the bus. And for the love of God, don't say they don't have good credit. Just give the facts. Their trade's clean, they're payment sensitive, they like the car, they have decent equity. Then shut up. Let the desk do what it does. But always go back out prepared to lead. Because here's the kicker. The desking dance doesn't happen at the desk. It happens in the space between the worksheet and the wallet. It's the vibe you carry out with you. It's the way you fold the paper. It's your tone, your pause, your phrasing. You could walk out with a decent pencil and blow it, or walk out with a shaky pencil and close the deal. It's all in the way you dance, and trust me, customers can't feel when you're out of step. I'll give you an example. There was this kid, new guy, walked his first pencil out like it was a lottery ticket, waving it like Charlie holding the golden ticket in Willy Wonka. Problem was, he didn't read the room. Customer was cold, arms crossed, already nervous. He slaps the paper down and says, "Good news, this is what the desk gave me." Customer looks at it, looks at him, and says, "The desk gave you that? Then you keep it. Dead deal." That kid learned something important that day. The dance starts before you even unfold the paper. All right, let's talk about the first direction in the desking dance, pushing the customer. Now, I don't mean pressuring the customer. Let me be crystal clear about that. Pushing the customer is not about being aggressive. It's not about wearing them down or hitting them with the old school tired, "What can I do to earn your business today?" We're not doing that. I'm talking about knowing when the customer is emotionally there, even if they haven't said the words out loud yet. Think about it like spotting a slow pitch in slow-mo. You don't swing early, but when it's right over the plate, you better swing. So when do you push? Here's a short list. They ask about payments. If they say, "What would this be with $2,000 down?" That's a buying question. Push. They bring someone else into the deal. The cousin, the dad, the pastor, the guy from Facebook Marketplace, whatever. If they brought backup, it's real. They park their trade in a way that blocks traffic. That ain't a test drive. That's an anchor. They're getting comfortable. They start negotiating small stuff. "Do I get free oil changes with this? What about the floor mats? Can you tint the windows?" My friend, if they're talking about floor mats, the car's already mentally in their driveway. That's when you push. That's when you lead. You say, "Let's see where the numbers fall." You can always say no. Or, "If it makes sense on paper, are you ready to go?" Or even, "Is there anything other than price holding you back?" But notice the tone. It's soft, confident, not desperate. Let me give you a real life close. Guy comes in, mid-40s, skeptical, arms crossed, says, "I don't want to waste your time. I'm not buying today." Perfect. Challenge accepted. We drive, we talk, we laugh. Eventually, he starts asking about the monthly. I desk it clean, come back out, and hit him with this. "Hey, if the numbers make sense and you can get in and out in under an hour, is there anything else you need to feel good about this?" He stares, long pause. He goes, "Can you throw in a cargo tray?" Done, signed, delivered, smiling. Sometimes the push is just a gentle shove over the finish line. Don't be afraid to lead in when the signs are there. Now let's address a couple of customer types you definitely need to push. The payment shopper. You know the one. They couldn't tell you if the car has a sunroof, but they know the payment should be $379. They say things like, "I saw an ad that said $299 a month for a loaded SUV." Yeah, with 10 grand down and a 24-month lease in North Dakota. These customers don't need to be educated. They need to be refocused. Redirect them. Totally understand wanting to stay within a budget, but would you rather be a little over budget in something you love or right on budget in something you regret? Boom, let it sit. Let them chew on it. The next one is the rate warrior. This guy comes in hot with a printout from Credit Karma and swears he qualifies for the 0.9 APR. You could offer him a free lifetime of oil changes and a puppy, and he'd still say, "But what's the APR?" In this case, the push isn't on the deal, it's on the value. Focus on what they get, not what they pay. Let's find the vehicle you love first. I promise the money will make more sense when the car fits. Don't get caught wrestling over interest rates when the real fight is about fear and control. Recenter the conversation, lead the rhythm. And sometimes it's the quiet ones that surprise you. Had a lady once barely said 2 words the whole time, but the second the husband walked away to use the restroom, she leans in and says, "If you make this easy for him, I'll make sure we leave in it today." Guess who just got pushed respectfully? The husband comes back. I hit him with, "Here's where we're at. If the numbers feel good, I'll get your new car cleaned up and you out of here before rush hour." 30 minutes later, we're taking a photo in front of the delivery bay. The push worked because I read the moment. I saw the window and I didn't waste it. Here's what it boils down to. If you've done your job building trust, if the customer sees the value, if the emotions are lined up, push. Don't stall the deal because you're afraid of seeming salesy. We're in sales. It's not a bad word. We're not tricking people. or helping people get what they already want. Sometimes they just need a little nudge. Now let's flip the music, because there are moments in the desking dance where the customer ain't the problem. The desk is. Listen, I've sat on both sides of the glass. I know what it's like to pencil a deal with no meat on the bone and expect the floor guy to go serve it like filet mignon. Sometimes the desk sends you out with a number so insane you got to check twice and ask, am I supposed to close this or confess to it? And the worst part, some managers do this to test you. They want to see if you fold under pressure. But here's the truth. Sending out garbage isn't a training tool. It's a trust killer. So when do you push back? When the payment is so high, you'd walk out on it yourself. When the trade value is so low, it looks like a typo. When there's a bump without justification and you know it. When the first pencil comes with the $4,000 in accessories and the customer came in on a base model. Example, I once had a desk pencil, a $275 a month, into a $520 just to see if they flinched. They didn't flinch. They laughed and left. I walked back to the tower. Hey boss, just FYI, they flinched so hard they twitched out the front door. Here's how to push back without causing war. Can I get a version that doesn't scare them off the lot? This payment is going to lose the customer. Can we tighten it up and save the deal? I know we're protecting gross, but there's no gross if they walk. Say it calm. Say it with facts, because yelling at the desk is like yelling at the microwave. It doesn't make anything cook faster. Real story. Had a sales guy come to me. I was running the desk and he says, Dan, I'm not walking this out. It's a ghost deal. At first I was like, come on, just run it. But he stuck to his gut. He says, you're asking me to lose a customer over $20 in spread. Give me a chance to keep the relationship. That earned respect. I repenciled, deal got done. That's how you push back, with purpose. All right, now let's talk about the stillness. Sometimes the best move in the desking dance is no move at all. Just like in real dancing, not every beat needs a step. Sometimes the room is too hot. The customer's frustrated. The spouse is giving that, don't you dare sign anything today look. That's when you hold. Signs to hold. Customer says they feel rushed. You've gone 3 rounds and hit the same payment every time. The energy is tense, not excited, but defensive. They've started looking at their watch more than the car. That's when you say, I want this to feel right, not forced. Let's slow it down. You don't lose the deal by holding. You lose it by forcing a close that isn't ready. One time, another true story, I had a couple go cold on me. They were hot, then suddenly went radio silent. I paused. I said, I don't want to keep pushing if it doesn't feel right for you. The husband says, thank you. No one's ever said that before. They left. I thought it was done. Next morning, 10:42 a.m., they walked back in, smiling, signed and delivered within 30 minutes. Sometimes silence is stronger than any word track in the world. Let them marinate. Let the desk cool off. Hold. Okay, now this one's for the real pros out there. The ones who know how to manage the customer's emotion and desk's logic without blowing up either side. This is the sweet spot. This is the center of the desking dance. The desk speaks math. The customer speaks emotion. You're the interpreter. You've got to take a number that makes sense on paper and make it feel good in someone's gut. You've also got to take someone's emotional outbursts and translate it into logic the desk can understand. You're the bridge, the pulse tamer. Quick scenario. Customer, I'm not paying $680 a month for this. The desk, we're $2,000 under market already. What else do they want? You. They're just reacting to sticker shock. Give me a version with lower upfront. Let me reframe it. That's how pros operate. No panic, no drama, just rhythm. Real life example. A guy was livid about his trade number. I told him, look, I'm not saying the number feels good. I'm saying it's accurate based on the market. Then I said, you want more? Let's put a little more in the new deal and let you win on the payment. He calmed down. We structured around it, closed it. Key takeaway. When you're smooth in the middle, you don't have to fight at the ends. Let me put on my tower hat for a second. A lot of guys on the floor think the desk is just back there eating empanadas and playing with numbers like it's Monopoly money. That's not how it works. Here's what the desk is juggling. Gross targets, incentive stair steps, lender calls, F&I opportunities, trade evaluations, time management, manager to manager negotiations, heat from ownership, and CSI. Oh yeah, and your deal. It's not personal when they bump the payment. They're trying to keep the lights on for everybody. My advice, ask questions like, what are we protecting here? Is this the front end push, or are we trying to F&I this one? Is there a room on the back end if we tighten up the front? When you talk like a business partner, not a beggar, the desk treats you with respect. And yeah, sometimes they still pencil crazy, but at least you'll know why. Let me give you 5 quick tips to communicate with the desk like a closer. Come with facts. Okay. They said they're at $500 a month with $2,000 down, more than, I don't know, I think they like it. Use tone control. The louder you get, the less seriously you're taken. Don't cry wolf. If every deal is a lay down, the desk stops believing you. Ask for strategy, not sympathy. How can we structure this to win? Better than, can you help me please? Follow up like a pro. If a deal cools off, update the desk. Don't leave them guessing. Remember, your relationship with the desk defines your income ceiling. If they trust you, they'll fight for your deals. If they don't, you'll be walking out with ghost pencils all month. All right, let's bring this home. Here's what we've learned today. The desking dance is not about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about reading the room, knowing your customer, knowing your desk, knowing yourself. Push when the deal is close, hold when it's fragile, push back when it's garbage, and always, always carry yourself like a professional who knows how to move the deal forward without stepping on toes. Because real closers don't force the sale. They feel the sale. They guide it. If you're still here, still listening, still learning, I know one thing about you. You don't just work in the car business, you belong in the car business. Well, that's a wrap for today's deep dive into the desking dance. When to push, when to hold, and how to keep your sanity while making deals that actually stick. Whether you're a green pea, just learning how to structure a pencil, or a seasoned vet juggling gross, volume, and CSI, just know this. You're not alone in the grind. Keep your eyes up, your heart right, and your numbers strong. And before I sign off, I want to take a moment to honor 3 legends we lost this week. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, beloved as Theo from The Cosby Show, passed at 54, a true talent with a gentle soul. Ozzy Osbourne, the one and only Prince of Darkness, passed at 76. His music shook the world and left a legacy louder than life. And the immortal Hulk Hogan, the wrestling icon who made Brother a battle cry, passed at 71. A larger-than-life figure gone too soon. May the Lord welcome them home, grant them peace, and comfort their loved ones. Rest easy, brothers. Amen.